Hey guys, it's Marco Gaming 64 and today we're going to be doing another Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire Wi-Fi battle. So today we're going to be battling BlazeShadowThorn. His channel will be in the description if you want to check him out. He uploads a lot of amazing content. I really recommend you check him out. Really awesome dude. I was in his stream the other day and that's how I actually got this battle, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's get right into team preview. So looking at my team compared to his, Goth isn't really that useful this match because I am running the standard Choice Scarf plus Rest set to basically beat walls, but he doesn't really have anything that I can stall out, basically with like Struggle Ward to death. So because Rotom Wash can Volt Switch out, and then Heatran does a hell of a lot with Fire Blast or Lava Plume or whatever he wants to use, so I can't really stall out his walls on his team, and then Landorus T has U-turn, so yeah, that's something to keep in mind for this. Mega Altaria is a huge threat to his team though, because gets up a free substitute on Rotom Wash, and it basically gets a hell of a lot of damage off on his team from there, because I am running standard sub Roost Dragon Dance, so that's something to keep in mind for this match, that Altaria does a hell of a lot of work this match if I keep him healthy, and I basically bring him in on Rotom Wash. Greninja, once again, he has no switch-ins. This thing's a monster and ORAS needs to go. I've been using it a lot, and for good reason. This thing destroys teams. Next, Latias is a good defogger to pair up with my Altaria, as it is weak to rocks before it Mega evolves. Landorus T and Ferrothorn are just good. Wall Core, they work fairly well together, so yeah, that's pretty much it for my side. Now looking at his side, he has Rotom Wash, which is interesting. It can beat my Greninja if it is specially defensive and I don't predict around it, so I need to keep that in mind. Also, like I said earlier, I got a free substitutes on it with my Altaria, as he cannot break my sub, and he basically gives me a free chance to do something dangerous, so that's something to keep around for later, because I really need to try and abuse that later in the match. So next he has a Heatran. I'm not sure if it's defensive or offensive, because he has a Rotom Wash and Landorus. I'm not actually sure at this point, because those are usually, well, so at this point I'm thinking he's actually Scarfed Landorus T, because Ferrothorn plus, Heatran plus Rotom Wash work fairly well together as a wall core, so at this point I was thinking that it was Landorus T that was Scarfed, and then, yeah, because his team is really weak to Greninja otherwise, so because his Rotom Wash will be worn down after a while. So next he has Greninja. I have no switch-ins if it's HP Fire, really. Next he has Landorus T. Once again, I said I was thinking it would be Choice Scarf, but you guys will see later in the match what it really was. Next he has Latias. Fairly huge threat to my team, but I'm not really too worried about it, because I don't think it's going to be HP Fire, because he has a Heatran, and that's pretty much the main reason why I don't think, and a Talent Flame. So that's the main reason why I don't think it has HP Fire, so I'm not too scared of it. Ferrothorn should be able to deal with it easily, unless it's Mega Latias with defensive bulk with sub Roost or whatever that basically beats Ferrothorn 1-on-1. So that's I'm not really sure what it is at this point, but that's the main thing I was thinking it was at this point. And then finally he has a Talonflame, which I have a check for in Landorus T, but it can be fairly dangerous if I don't get up my rocks and I let my Landorus T rack up too much damage early on. So yeah, that's pretty much team preview, and now let's get right into the battle. Okay, so I'm going to end up leading off with my Goth, because I would like to get off the trick on something, but he's going to lead off with his Rotom Wash, basically scaring me out. I'm going to go into my Latias, as it is a check to his Rotom Wash. I know he could get it off a free Volt Switch, but it won't do anything really, so I'm not really that scared. So here he's going to go into the monster, and now I'm basically terrified that I may need to sack something, because if it's HP Fire, I'm really terrified of this thing essentially. So he's going to go for the Ice Beam. Basically a safe play, as it will knock out my Latias from the Volt Switch damage. So here he's actually going to end up freezing me. As you guys will see, that will be a key factor later in the match, but for now I'm just going to scout if he has the HP Fire. I'm going to go straight out with my Greninja, because if he does have the HP Fire, then he will be able, I basically will be able to outspeed him for free, because I'm not carrying it. So I'm carrying Dark Pulse over it, so basically I'm guaranteed to outspeed him, so he knows that, so he's going to hard switch out, knowing that I basically outspeed him, and I'm just gonna go for the safe surf. I didn't want to risk the gank shot or anything, and I know Dark Pulse doesn't kill, so that was basically what I was thinking there. So now I basically need to keep my Greninja for later, as it is a very huge threat to his team, just as his is to mine. So I'm gonna go into my Ferrothorn because it is frozen right here, so he can't really burn me. So once it's frozen, the Rotomosh can't touch it at all. So here he's gonna go out into his Heatran. I don't want him to unthaw me with a lava plume or anything, because that'll just destroy my Ferrothorn. So I'm just gonna keep him for later, knowing that it can do work, as it stops his Latias unless it is Calm Mind Mega Evolution. So I'm gonna hard switch into my Gothitelle because I just want to get the trick off on this thing. I don't care about anything else. I don't need Gothitelle this match. I just want the trick off on it. So the thing about level 50 battles is Gothitelle actually outspeeds Greninja in level 50 battles, but because I know he has HP Fire, I know my Greninja could outspeed him, so I'm not really that scared of his. So I just want to get off the Scarf on him. He's gonna miss a Fire Blast, which is unfortunate, but his Fire Blasts aren't doing much to my Heatran, and I didn't really need Gothitelle for this match, so I didn't mind letting him get damage, but he does miss as well. So unfortunate. Here he's gonna pull a risky switch into his own Latias, even though I could go for the Draco Meteor. He was fairly confident that I wouldn't, because basically he had a Heatran out, so I just went for the Roost. I don't want to risk the Speed Tie. That basically confirms he's not HP Fire, because basically you would never switch in a Latias on another Latias unless you want to risk the Speed Tie or it's Scarfed. So here he's going to reveal he's actually Life Orb, not the Mega Evolution Calm Mind, meaning I don't need to worry. So I could just fairly safely switch into my Ferrothorn against this Latias as much as I want, and I'm not really that scared. But here's where this freeze comes into play. I would have loved to get a Leech Seed on this thing, basically like stalling out this Talonflame for a little bit, but it doesn't really matter that much because I have the Bird Spam check, so I'm just going to go straight out into it. He's going to go for the Flare Blitz. That basically tells me he's probably not Sharp Beak, because if he was Sharp Beak he would actually go for Brave Bird, but he does reveal he's actually Life Orb, which is interesting. So basically I'm just going to get off 3 rocks. I have no reason not to right here. So he's going to hard switch out into his Rotomosh. Now here I know I naturally outspeed him, but basically I don't know how much speed he's running compared to me. I'm not running any speed, so I'm basically going to hard switch out into my own Ferrothorn, because he can't touch my Ferrothorn. So I'm just going to, switch into that, and instead of going for the U-turn, which is the alternative, and he's going to go for the Hydro Pump. It does nothing, it's the Ferrothorn, but basically I'm still frozen, which is unfortunate, and he's going to Volt Switch out, get some initiative right here. Not really though, because he's just going to go into his land, just trying to get a proc at this point. So basically my Ferrothorn's in here and it's still frozen, and you guys will see that this Ferrothorn is complete garbage later in the match. But here I'm going to hard switch out, thinking that my Ferrothorn still has use. His Latias basically gets walled by it. It could switch in one more time before it cannot switch in anymore, because 2 Draco Meteors will knock me out, but not if they're used one after another because of the -2. So I'm gonna go into my own landers. I believe I have a little bit of a bad speed IV, just so I could get the switch initiative on other landers T's with U-turns. I'm not running enough speed to outspeed Bisharp or anything. I'm just running enough. I think I have a 30 in speed, so I'm just going to go off the U-turn. I'm going to go out into my Altaria, because this is the exact situation I wanted. I basically get to Mega Evolve right here for free against his Rotomosh, and basically he has no switch-ins. He's just gonna go for the save. Oh, he actually goes for the rest here, which is an even larger misplay, because now I basically get to get off a hell of a lot of damage on the Rotomosh, or go for the Dragon Dance. A huge misplay on my part, actually. I was thinking that in case you wanted to go into Ninja or anything, I'm running adamant enough speed to outspeed Greninja, and that's pretty much my spread. So he's gonna Volt Switch out. Once again, a huge misplay. I had no reason to do that. I had no reason to do that, and I felt bad about doing that play, but that's the one thing about this match that I regret doing. But here he's gonna go for the Brave Bird. I'm just gonna knock out his Talonflame, because he's basically switching it in to die, just to knock out my sub. So now that I'm not behind a sub anymore, he can get off at Intimidate, which means that I cannot do shit to his Landers T. and I don't want him to do a hell of a lot with his Earthquake. So I'm basically gonna hard switch out, knowing that he could destroy me, and I'm really I believe he was left over, so I'm thinking he's defensive. So he's gonna go for the Stone Edge, predicting my switch into one of my ground immunities, which I end up doing. But as you guys will see here, this Stone Edge does nothing, so that miss didn't matter at all. I don't think, at least. His bird spam thingy is dead, so I don't really care that if my thing gets weakened, my Landers gets weakened. Here I'm going to switch out to my Thorn, basically trying to lure him to go for the Stone Edge, basically. I mean, sorry, Earthquake, knowing that he'll probably never go out into my, he'll never go. I'm thinking he won't go for the Stone Edge or U-turn, because U-turn, he doesn't want to get spiky Barb Spam. I was thinking he just wants to finish off my Thorn at that point, but I'm gonna get off free switch to my Latias. I could have just gone straight out into my Latias, but I wanted to get off a little bit of leftovers with my Thorn. But I'm gonna miss a Draco against this Heatran. It is a little bit unfortunate for me because I wanted to weaken that thing a little bit, so maybe Altaria can sweep later because I'm not carrying Earthquake. But basically, I'm gonna go off the Defog. Now I don't want to risk the Speed Tie once again because I have no reason to risk it. And here he's gonna do a risky play, and he's gonna go for the Calm Mind, which basically confirms that he's a threat. So I guess he was already a threat before, but I don't want to get. I just want to unthaw. Like, that's all I wanted. All I wanted to do was unthaw, and you guys will see here, Base Lord Ferrothorn can't even do that. So just to show off how unlucky I am, I'm gonna go for the Protect here, just to show that I can't even unthaw on the turn that doesn't even matter. So nice and garbage Ferrothorn. This man's gonna get released. But good enough luck IV, but he's gonna go down to a Draco Meteor. Now looking at his range, I did some calcs. Ice Beam will be able to knock him out. If he went for more Calm Minds, basically he risked my Ferrothorn unthawing and getting off a hell of a lot, and then I would have to go for Gunk Shot, which does slightly less to this thing. So I end up knocking it out. So yeah, Ice Beam barely killed, so if he went for more Calm Minds and I didn't unthaw, it could have been a little bit scary, because then I would have to hit Gunk Shot and I would have to get a high roll. So yeah, he's gonna go for the Hydro Pump here. I know that I could easily wall this Rotom Wash, so I'm just gonna go for the Draco Meteor, trying to get off a little bit of damage on this Rotom, wear it down a little bit. He's gonna go for the Wisp. I don't really mind that, as Latias has done his job this game. If you guys noticed, Latias did a hell of a lot to his team this game. So here he's gonna go into his Landers, basically trying to get up Brock at this point, I believe. So we go for the Roost, as basically I am at -2, but my Latias over here is powerful, packing the Life Orb. I know I could do a hell of a lot to this Landers if I just go for another Draco Meteor. I don't really need Latias this match for the rest of his mons, because it can stop his Heatran, but not as well as before, because I am burned now, and then Greninja and this thing can't beat me at this point. Not really this thing, but mainly his Greninja is what I'm scared about. So I'm just gonna let this thing die. I just didn't want rocks on the field, so my Altaria could come back in and basically destroy something soul. So he's gonna U-turn out into his own Heatran, and if I got off that Draco Meteor earlier, it would have been really useful. So here I don't really care about my Gothitellus anymore, but I do see he outspeeds, which is interesting. I see he outspeeds something else in my team. I didn't mean this thing, but yeah, he basically does a hell of a lot, much more than I expected. So I'm thinking he's offensive at this point over actually defensive. So I know he's locked into Fire Blast, and he knows he's locked into Fire Blast, so he's gonna hard switch out into his Landers T. And here I do a misplay, but I'm sorry, the turn afterwards I do a misplay. Here I go for the Dragon Dance, and I'm just gonna go for the return, knocking him out. That sorry, the misplay comes after this. I basically make a huge misplay, and I have enough speed to outspeed Greninja, but I didn't think he would outspeed me. He's gonna go for the rocks late game, didn't matter at all, but I go for the substitute. As you guys will see later in the match, he has Earth Power, not Flash Cannon or anything like that, so Earth Power basically would have bring me down to the range where I couldn't substitute up, and if he would have gone for that, I would have to switch out into Landers and do a bunch of few turning shenanigans, and it would have prolonged the match a little bit, I feel, but I feel like Greninja could have cleaned up at this point anyways. So here I'm basically gonna still out Rotom a little bit, knowing that he can't even touch me because it's Rotom. But here he's just gonna go back out into his Heatran, I believe, yet. And basically at this point I could outspeed because they got off another Dragon Dance. So here he's just gonna go. Sorry, I'm gonna go for another return because I am faster. I forgot that I got up another dance, but he's gonna go for Earth Power, basically confirming he didn't have Flash Cannon. So he will be able to easily break my sub, but it doesn't matter at this point because he already misplayed with the Spell Rock. So I feel like the game would have been a little bit closer if he didn't go for that, but I felt like Greninja still cleaned up at this point because he has nothing for it, really. So Altaria is going to clean up instead. Not bad, but yeah, Altaria is just a monster. It destroys so much. It can set up on so many things, especially Rotom Wash, which is a huge wall in the tier right now. So I basically got up a few dances and it's basically over at this point. So that's going to actually end up being the game. Really close match. If he went for the Earth Power over going for the rocks there, it would have really helped him, but oh well, misplays happen, I guess. So I didn't really have anything weak to rocks at that point, so I don't really understand why he needed to get up rocks, but that's gonna be the game. 3-0. Check out his channel, it's gonna be in the description. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content, and yeah, I'll see you guys later.